So let's go ahead and start in a seated position. I really like to sit on my block, the blanket, pillow, whatever you might have, fold it up. The idea is to try to have the knees at level or below the hips if possible, right? It helps us sit for a little bit longer. So let's go ahead, and today we're going to work on shoulders and our back and our core. So I think you guys will really enjoy the practice. So I want you to start by closing your eyes, roll the shoulders back. Of that little trick about just opening up the palms of the hands helps keep the shoulders right above the hips. Bring your gaze to the third eye center, that spot right between your eyebrows. Take a nice big inhale all the way up through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, just feel the full body surrender. You know, watch your breath here. Feel the coolness of the air coming in through the nostrils. Feel the body elongating, picturing space being made between each vertebrae. And as you exhale, feel the face muscles relax. The jaw might release, the teeth might separate. As you inhale, feel the crown of the head reaching for the sky. As you exhale, feel the breath travel down the back of the neck and down the spine, all the way into the sitting bones. So it feels like you're sinking into that earth. And just watch that breath. Forget about anything that happened prior to this class, yesterday, last month. Forget about anything that you have going on in the next hour, tomorrow, next week, next month. Just be in the present moment. Feel the chest raise and the belly inflate and the ribs separate as you inhale. And as you exhale, allow everything to separate. Just surrender down. Feel the shoulders relax. The hips release. With your eyes closed, inhale up those hands, up towards the sky, bring them together, and then exhale them down into prayer position in front of the heart center. Open up the fingers wide, press the hands together slightly, not overly so, and gently place the thumbs right on the chest bone. Continue to watch that breath as you inhale up. And surrender as you exhale. Take a moment to set your intention for the class. The intention can be anything that you want it to be. It can be related to this class, to yourself, to someone else, nothing to do with yoga. There's no rules. Take a moment, reflect on that. Release those hands, bring them all the way up into the sky. Look up at those fingers. Exhale them back in front of the heart center. And then let's come on and go on off our block, and we're going to come into our hands and knees right away. This is our bridge position. I want you just to take a moment, keep the elbows soft, knees directly underneath the hips. Into that mat. So you're pushing that self away and you're feeling that body rise up. And I just want you to feel the engagement of the abs here for a moment. And as you inhale, allow the shoulders to release back towards the hips and let the belly naturally sink so we get this little curve in the spine for our cow. Lift the chest up, not the chin so much, but the chest and the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, round the back and pull the belly back towards the spine, pushing the mat away from you. Inhale it up. Exhale, round it. Getting the crunchiness out of our back here. This is one of the only movements that will actually work the muscles that run right along the spine, up and down the spine. On your cow, Don't push the stomach back down. Just let it go naturally down where it goes. But on the cat, really pull that belly button towards the spine. And you can move it around a little bit. You can move the hips around. Come back to neutral again. Now it's this time, inhale up the right arm. Try to bring it just above that right ear if possible. Keep the left elbow soft. Notice how the stomach is engaging just by lifting that arm. Breathing. Is all your weight on that front wrist? Maybe shift it back a little bit on those knees hip distance apart. Exhale it down. Inhale for that cow. Exhale it for the cat. Back to that right arm again. Inhale it up. Notice what happens with the belly. Very subtle, but it does. You can feel it engaging here. 3 breaths. Inhale through the nose. Inhale out the nose. And then reach with those fingers and exhale it down. Let's go to the left side. Inhale up that left arm, just above the left ear if possible. Keep that right arm, elbow neutral. Don't hyperextend it out. Keep the shoulders pulled back. Don't let the shoulders come up to your ears. One more breath. And your breath cycle might be a little longer or shorter than mine. That hand down. Take a breath. Release it. Relax here for a moment. And release that left side up. You might also notice that one side always seems easier or harder than the other side. That's how it is everybody, every day. And exhale it down. Now go ahead and push back to a child's pose here for a moment. Push those hips, walk the hands out. Push the hips back towards the heels. Maybe widen the knees out a little bit. Now, if you have some hip issues, throw that blanket back there. Keep some space. Maybe walk the hands out a little bit so we don't come our stomach onto our thighs. So that's if you have a hip issue. If you don't have a hip issue, really push the sitting bones back. Let the chest sink down. Feel the lower back separating and feel the hips releasing. Breathing. Now, a lot of you might be more like this, and this is okay. Your practice is not going to look like mine. You take yourself to your edge, breathe right there, and then exhale it down. Yoga should never hurt. Feel the whole back side of the body lifting here. Notice how this pose does not seem all that easy right now in the beginning of the practice. It's a very real pose. But anytime during our practice today, if your body feels like it needs a child's pose, as we get into the practice, this asana will seem easier. Inhale back to that table. We're going to add on here a little bit. So now we're going to take that right foot all the way down so the toes are into the mat. So with the toes into the mat here. Now I want you just to imagine you're going to lift that foot up. Notice the engagement of the belly just by imagining you're going to lift the foot up. And then slowly go ahead and float the foot up. Have that foot flex with the toes pointed straight down. Don't let the hip fly up this way. Try to keep it nice and level. Pull the belly in. Now, if you're somebody who wants to take it up a level, you can shift the weight to the right side and lift the left hand. Breathing here. Squeeze toward the midline of the body. Picture a string coming through the crown of the head all the way up the tailbone, and the arm and the leg squeezing towards that midline. That'll help keep that balance. 3 breaths here, or just keep the one leg up. Go ahead and drop that leg down, bring the knee back to center, push back to the child's pose for a moment, release the wrist, inhale back to center. Left leg slides back. Push those toes into the mat, maybe shift back towards the heel a little bit. Come back to neutral. Keep the elbows soft, push into the ground. Even with the elbows soft, feel on that body be nice and tall. Now picture yourself raising the leg. Don't raise it, just picture it. Feel the engagement of that abdominal core area. Now go ahead and lift that leg up, float it up. Breathing, you can stay right here. And again, if you want to challenge yourself and you want something a little bit more intense, you can raise the right arm towards that air, reaching from one end of the room to the other, or simply just keep this down. Breathing. One more breath here. And then bring that leg back. Push back to the child's pose. Inhale to a cow. Exhale back to neutral. Okay, we're going to drag that right foot back once again. Picture it raising up. Inhale it up once again, nice and level with the hip. Now, if you're someone who wants more engagement, wants something more intense, raise that left hand. And on the exhale, maybe bring the knee and elbow together. This is only for someone who wants something more advanced, right? Otherwise, just stay with the leg up there. Do what feels good for you. Slowly bring that leg back down, knee down, push back to the child's pose. Exhale back. Inhale to the cow. Come back to neutral. Slide the left foot back. And if you're opposite legs, don't worry about it. As long as you do the other leg, picture floating it up, then float it up. Pick your choice. Keep that leg up, which is plenty, or extend. And exhale the knee and the elbow towards each other. Do what feels great for you. What does your body need today? One more inhale. Knee down, push back to the child's pose. Hold this here for a breath or two. Walk those hands up. Back to that table. Walk those hands out. Have the hips directly above the knees. Arms straight in front of you. And then exhale the chest down for puppy pose. This is a great alternative to downward facing dog, especially if you have hip issues. Exhale, feel the whole body lengthening. Exhale the chest down. Now, some of you may want some blocks here for that puppy, right? Put your head on the blocks, maybe one block. Getting into the shoulders here, the upper back. You inhale, really crawl those fingers out. Exhale, let the chest and chin sink. Getting into the shoulders. Slowly bring yourself back up. Walk the hands in a little bit. Claw the mat. So make like you're trying to lift the mat up, but it's going nowhere. Check the creases of the hand, of the wrists. Are they parallel with the front edge of the mat? Turn the toes under. Now, if you have hip issues, maybe go back to the puppy. We're going to go to downward facing dog here. Really push into the mat and lift up those knees. Ooh, just for initiative. Notice how the abs are charging in here. Slowly push your sitting bones back behind you as far as they can go until your body can go no longer and you're really stretched out. And then inhale up those hips and then exhale back towards the heels, downward facing dog. You might want to even walk the hands a little bit. Think of your body making that letter V, inhaling up the hips, exhaling the chest back towards the thighs. Now, if you're in all the ways you can be in this puppy, if this bothers you, And slowly walk those hands all the way back towards those feet. If you're in puppy, walk your hands back, come to the knees, walk towards the knees, and then go ahead and lift up to standing. Forward fold here. Now, if you have hip issues and this forward fold action doesn't work for your hips there, just kind of be out in a number 7. This is called Ardha Uttanasana, right? Or being up halfway here. The idea is to get into the back of these thighs, right? Or the hamstrings here. So exhale, fold. Those of us that don't have those hip issues, allow the knees to bend here. Let the chest sink on the thighs. Let the head and the arms dangle here. Don't worry about if the knees are bent here. We're just warming up the back of the legs. Now take those hands on the sides of those legs and then inhale up to a number 7. Really extend the crown of the head, pull the hips back, pull the shoulders back, pull the belly towards the spine, with that body halfway. Find the curvature in that lower lumbar. Exhale it down. Maybe straighten the legs a little bit more if that feels okay. Take those hands on the hips, squeeze the elbows together, soften the knees here, hinging at the hips. Inhale all the way up. Inhale up those arms. Exhale the hands together, walk to the front of the mat. And bring those hands out to the side into Tadasana. Take a nice big inhale, roll the shoulders back, arms out. Lift the crown of the head up. Pull the chin in, maybe just a millimeter. Feel your knees lifting up in the engagement of those front thighs. Lift all 10 toes off the mat so you can feel the 4 corners of the mat. Lift the arches of the feet off the mat, but don't be on the edges of the feet, right? Now let the toes relax down. Feel the engagement and the power and the strength of our mountain pose. As you inhale up, maybe close your eyes. What happens to your body when you close your eyes? Do you feel the body swaying all over the place? Play with the pelvic tilt, right? Find the tilt that's neutral for your body to help give you stability. The knees are soft here. Inhale up those arms. And then exhale, squat those hips back into a chair position. Pulling the belly in. Breathing here. And then exhale, fold it down. Straighten the legs a little bit. Inhale it halfway. Those hands down. Maybe grab onto blocks here for this Uttanasana. This might feel a lot better for you. Step that right foot all the way back. Keep that knee up high for a moment, then drop the knee down. Using your blocks, it feels good for you. Walk the hands, the blocks back. So now we're more upright. Pulling the belly in. Pull the left hip back, right hip forward. Try to keep those hips square towards the front of the mat. Take a nice big inhale through the crown of the head. As you exhale, let the hips sink. Take a nice big inhale now. Walk the blocks back even more, straightening the front leg, coming up on the heel of the front toe. Flex that foot using your blocks here, or maybe not. Maybe you don't need the blocks here. Pull the left hip back, kind of push that heel into the earth, pull it back. You'll feel it in the back of the leg. Now take a nice big inhale, get up a little bit more upright, and bring those arms and walk them to the outside of that front leg. Just wherever that block will go, right? Feel the stretch in the right side of the body, back of the leg. We're going to get into that IT back. Walk the block away from you a little bit, and you'll feel it in the more of the outside of that leg. Walk those blocks back. Walk them back. That low lunge. You can use the blocks here or get rid of them. Tuck the back toe, inhale up that back knee. Take the left hand, place it on that left thigh, and inhale up for a high lunge. Pull the left hip back, right hip forward. Feel the hips square towards the front of the mat. Pull the ribs in, the belly in. Keep the shoulders low. Inhale up the hands. Now you might want to just stay with the knee down here. That's fine too. Exhale it all the way down. Go ahead and lift the back knee and pull the front foot back, downward facing dog. Or maybe if you're on your knees, come back to the puppy, whatever feels good for you. Inhale up. You can use your blocks here. You can get rid of the blocks. Take a nice big inhale, exhale, let the chest sink towards the thighs, getting into the back heels. Walk the hands back. Forward fold. Inhale it halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Hands on the hips, squeeze the elbows together, soften the knees. Inhale all the way up. Inhale up those arms. Exhale in front of the heart, come back to the front. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive it down. Palms of the hands facing the sky until they get to the shoulders, then they turn down. Grab onto the blocks or the floor, whatever feels right. And step the left foot all the way back. High lunge here or low lunge here for a second. Put the blocks on whatever level you need it. Drop that back knee down. You can keep the toes curled or uncurl them, it's up to you, and walk the hands back. Take a nice big inhale, pull the left hip back, right hip forward. Let the hips sink, getting into that psoas muscle. Go ahead and slowly walk it all the way back. Bring into the back of that right leg. Breathing here. Don't forget to breathe. Don't clench your jaw. Let the hips sink down. Walk yourself forward a little bit, and then go ahead and take that left hand over, cross it over to the outside of that right foot or right leg. Now you might be up here. Your leg might be bent a little bit. That's okay. Whatever feels good for you. Maybe walk the blocks out a little bit to feel it into the IT band, that outer edge of that leg a little bit more. You're going to feel it in that whole left side of the body. Exhale, walk the blocks back. Back to that leg, one more. And then walk it forward. Again, you can be without the blocks if it's available. Okay, do what feels good for your body. Tuck the toes under. Push in with all 5 toes and lift the back knee up. High, low lunge here. This is our runner's lunge. Pull the belly off that leg if you can, right? Pull it in and away. Keep that right hip coming back. Left hip forward. Feel the legs like they're scissoring together. You can take that right hand on top of that right thigh or just come on up. Inhale it up, pull the body back, pull the ribs back. Exhale, maybe let the hips sink if it's available. You can do this, you can just come right back up without the knee being lifted, your choice. Exhale those hands down. You can come onto the blocks or without them. I'm gonna come without them here for a second. Lift up the knee, pull that front foot back, come back into your puppy or your downward facing dog. I'll do puppy this time. Take 3 good breaths. Walk it all the way back. Forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Hands together in front of the heart center. Walk to the front of the mat. Inhale it up. Exhale it all the way down. Use your blocks or go to the floor. Inhale halfway here. Exhale it back. Go ahead and step both feet back one at a time into your plank. Now you can have knees up or knees down here. The idea though is the nice, straight, flat back. Think if you got both knees up, think of your inner thighs trying to open up towards the ceiling like in a flower type of mouth, right? Or if your knees are down, think of extending the head. Breathing here. This is one of the best core workouts you can have is in a plank. Now, if this is too much on your wrist, come down to the forearms, right? But whatever you do, don't allow the body to tent and don't allow the banana boat, right? If you feel your back giving, drop to the knees. One more breath. Okay, everybody drop to their knees if you're not already there. Take a nice big inhale, shift the body forward, lift the hips up now, tent the body, and come down to the chest. Elbows pointing straight towards the hips, coming all the way next to the body, to the chest. Then the chin, then the hips. Slide the hands back and then inhale up the chest and the shoulders off the mat for baby cobra. These hands are very loose. They're not pushing into the mat. The crown of the head is lifting and spreading, not the chin. Exhale down. Pull those hands back now towards the chest. This time we're going to push into the chest. The feet are flat and towards one another together. Inhale up your shoulders to your ears. Now exhale, roll them back, push into the chest and push up for cobra. Exhale it down. Inhale back to the plank and then exhale to the downward or to the child's pose. Inhale to table, tuck the toes. Inhale back up to downward facing dog or puppy. From here, inhale to your plank. Knees down. Take another big inhale, exhale, chaturanga down. Slowly to the chest, chin, now hips, and then inhale up for the cobra. Exhale that cobra down. Inhale back to your plank, and then exhale back to downward facing dog. Or puppy, child's pose, sorry. Come on back to the downward facing dog or puppy. Walk your hands all the way back. That forward fold. Again, you can be using your blocks. Inhale it halfway. You can bring your hands up here. Exhale, fold. Soften the knees, hands on the elbows, squeeze the elbows. Inhale all the way up. Walk to the front of the mat. Inhale up those arms. Bring the feet together and then squat back into the chair. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Walk all the way back to that plank, knees up or knees down. This time, let's come down onto the elbows. Breathing here, knees up or knees down, your choice. Everybody bring their knees down if you're not there. Take a nice big inhale and then shift the body forward. Let the pelvis come down, walk the elbows forward. Let the feet uncurl into our Sphinx pose. In your Sphinx pose, if you have shoulder issues, maybe put the thumbs up, otherwise hands down. Ideally, you want to get the elbows underneath the shoulders, but sometimes that's too much far back. So walk the elbows out so that you don't feel it in your back. And as you inhale, lift up the chest and the crown of the head. As you exhale, feel the pelvic bone sink in and then the lower ribs, allowing that back to bend. Inhale, really reach with the chest. push into the mat with the wrists and the elbows and isometrically push into the mat to lift you up and pull them back, but they're not actually moving anywhere, right? You're going to really feel the elongation of that lower back. And as you exhale, let everything release down. Are you clenching your fingers? Let everything release. Getting into this back bend. You might be able to adjust that back. And then slowly slide those hands out, sweep them out to your sides, come back. And then bring those hands to the lower back. Maybe grab onto a strap. Right. Hold them back behind you, or maybe interlace the fingers if it's available. Interlacing your fingers is all about bending the elbows, bringing the fingers together, and then pulling them back, and they may separate. If that hurts your shoulder, use a strap. Pull it back, lift the chest off the mat. Getting into those shoulders. Release it down. Turn the head to the side. Slowly bring those hands back up. Inhale back to that child's pose for a moment. Give that back a rest. Slowly walk those hands all the way back. Inhale up those arms. Exhale them in front of the heart center. Take that right leg and step it all the way forward. Inhale up for that low lunge. Take the right hand, place it on the hip, pull that right hip back so you're nice and square towards the mat. And if the mat bothers your knee at all, you can take that blanket, put it under the knee. You can roll the mat and make it a little bit thicker. Okay. So right hand on the wrist, and then I want you to reach for number 1 on the clock. Pulling the right hip back, left hip forward, reach for number 1 until you no longer can reach. Hinge the elbow and stack it just above the knee. Point the fingers so they're going towards the front of the mat. Pull the right hip back and then release the right hand on top. Prayer position. Push them together, lifting the chest, stacking the elbows on top of one another. Just a slow twist. Now, for something more intense, you can open up the hands, bringing the fingers to the outer edge. You can also tuck the back toe under and lift the back knee into that low lunge twist. Again, inhaling it up. So do what feels best for you, right? For today, right now, I'm going to keep that knee down. But if you want something more intense, take your variation. Breathing here. Slowly release the hands, coming back forward. As you come forward, pull the right hip back as you twist the body forward to keep that balance. Inhale up those arms. Exhale them down. Maybe use the blocks if you have them, or just straighten the legs a little bit, and then pull that foot back into that child's pose, puppy, or downward facing dog. The one that feels best for you. In downward facing dog, really lift the hips as high as you can. Don't collapse into the palm of those hands and exhale back towards the heels. Don't worry if the heels don't touch the ground. It doesn't matter. Drop the knees if you don't have them dropped and walk back. Inhale up those arms up. Exhale the hands together in front of the heart center. Step the left leg forward. Inhale up those arms. Pull the left hip back, right hip forward here. Don't let the belly and the ribs jut out here, right? Keep those pulled in. Exhale, let the heart release. Let the hips release here. Take that left hand, bring it on your waist, and then reach now for number 11, 10 or 11 on the clock until the body no longer can move.
I don't care.
Into the elbow, place it above your knee.
Tonight, she could actually spend
Finger pointed towards the front of the mat.
every time you have to
Into the mat, and then twist that body.
come on that, but she'll say, it's Kate.
into tuck the toe and lift the knee if you want something more intense. Open up those hands.
Right.
Pick your version. Pick what feels best for you.
No, I have, and you know, I
Breathe.
have to go back in time for coffee on Tuesday. At 10 o'clock. So I actually,
Okay. Okay, slowly release that twist. Inhale it up. And then exhale it down. Maybe walk it back a little bit if you don't have your blocks with you. Tuck the toes. Inhale back to the downward facing dog or puppy. And then walk those hands all the way back. Inhale it up. And exhale it down. Okay. Now we're going to work on a balance pose here a little bit, and I want to work with our feet. So come back to that mountain in the front of your mat, and I want you to come up on the big toe of the right foot, and then roll it down to the ball of the foot on that under that big toe. Roll out to the outside to the edge of the pinky front toe, keeping that big toe area down. Then the outer edge of the foot to the outer right edge of the heel and to the left edge of the heel. So now you have the four corners of that foot down. Toes lifted up. Find your balance point. Keep that knee soft. So soft the knee. Now shift the weight to that foot. Let the toes come down. And then slowly raise that left knee up. Looking straight ahead, picking your gaze. And then we're going to go ahead and come into that tree here. You can grab onto the front of the foot, place it into the inner thigh if it's available. If not, maybe below the knee, maybe the toes are on the ground, or maybe the toes are on a block. Right? Pull that knee out towards the left and feel. Pull the belly in, raise the crown of the head, roll the shoulders back. Think of a string coming from the ground up through the tailbone to the crown of the head. Slowly bring that knee back forward. Maybe lift it up one more time in case you were on a block. See if you can challenge yourself, squeezing the legs towards one another and then bringing it down. Okay, and then we'll go to the other side. Let's do the same thing. Come up on those toes. Roll from the big toe out towards the pinky, right? On the ball of the foot there, then to the back edge of the heel and the inner edge. Pull the belly in. Feel the core strengthening here. Soften the left knee. Come up on the toes of the right foot. And you're going to find the balance is side to side, day to day. Squeeze the inner line of that body as you lift that right knee up. And you might want to just stay right here. That might be all it is for today. And that's totally fine. If it's available, maybe push it in. If you find your leg or your knee, really push that leg against the foot and the foot against the leg for that center line of that body. Breathing. Release that knee forward, really squeeze the body towards that center line, and then drop it down. Okay, now let's find our way down to our back. We're going to do a few more core things here that I actually think you will enjoy. Do a little core flow. Okay, so find your way onto your back. Go ahead and bend the knees. Find that center line in the back. And what I want you to do is to plug the shoulders into the ground. And I just want you to lift that right arm up and bring it back behind you. And notice what it does to the abs and the core here. Just by bringing the arm up and coming back. Go ahead and straighten the legs now, and we're going to do it the left side, and notice the difference that way. So plug the left shoulder in, lift the arm up, and bring it back behind you, and notice the engagement of the core just by raising our arms. And bring them back. Go ahead and bring both knees into the chest for a moment. If you have a hip issue, maybe don't come in as far, but if you don't, maybe bring them in there, rock it back and forth. Loosen up the back a little bit. The knees can come out wide. Breathing. Take that inhale, and as you exhale, really let that lower back spread and separate down. Now go ahead and raise the legs all the way straight up. Keep the feet flexed. This is an ab thing here. You don't want to come beyond the hips here. So, and if your knees bend a little bit, that's okay. It's okay. But flex them up as much as you can. Inhale up those arms. Bring them back behind you. And then as you exhale them down, bend the knees with you. And have the legs touch the ground when the fingers touch the ground. Okay, this time we're gonna work on a little twist with this. So as you inhale up the arms, back behind you, I want you to let the knees fall to the left. It's kind of like a pat the head, tap the stomach thing. And then as you inhale those arms back, as they come to the top point, exhale and let them come to the other side. And these come back. Inhale up the arms back behind you. Exhale, let them fall to the left. Inhale up the knees and the hands together right to the center. Inhale up the arms and then let them fall to the right. Exhale them back to center. Inhale up, fall to the other side. Let the feet stay on the ground here. Inhale up. Exhale. Back to the other side. Come on back to the center. Pull them in again. And then straighten them out. Breathing here. Okay, we're going to add on to this. So we're going to inhale those hands up back behind us with those feet straight. Flex the feet. Put the heels towards the sky. As you exhale, you can bend the knees and bring the hands down so that the feet and the knees come down at the same time. Then push into the mat with those feet. Lift up the hips. Lift the chest up into a little bridge. Exhale it back down. Inhale up the shoulders, not the shoulders, but the hands and the feet back to that starting position. Bring the hands back behind you. Exhale those hands. Now, if you want something a little bit more challenging, you can keep those legs a little straighter. But eventually bend the knees so the hands and the feet touch at the same time. Push into the mat with the elbows. Lift up the hips. Exhale back down, one vertebrae at a time. Inhale up those knees and legs, hands back behind you. Exhale everything back down. Again, if you want something really challenging, you can keep those legs out, but the moment the back lifts up, bend the knees, bring them to the mat, push into the mat with the elbows next to the waist, inhale up the hip. Exhale it down. Inhale up the legs and the hands over the head. Exhale it down. Maybe just bend the knees right away. Coming in, pushing in, inhaling it up. And then exhaling it down. Pull the knees into the chest. Okay. So bring those arms out into a T. Now make a goalpost, really open up the chest. Pull the knees in towards the body. Now we're gonna do a little ab work here. Some of you can stay right here. Now, if it feels better, maybe to put the hands under the hips, you can do that as well. And there's gonna be a couple versions. So take a nice big inhale and you can tap the left heel, the right toe, and back up. Right heel, right toe, back up. Knees over the hips. Your next version is both heels, both toes, and back up. Take your inhale. As you exhale, push the belly in towards the spine. Tap the heels, tap the toes, back up. For a more advanced version, you can flex the feet and do what essentially is a leg lift. So do your version. You exhale it down. Wherever the back starts to lift, that would be where you would bend the knees, heel, toe, straighten, come back up. Okay? So pick your version. Inhale it up, exhale down. Heel, toe, heel, inhale back up this time. Exhale down, heel, toe, heel, inhale up. Again, pick your version. Exhale it down. Heel, toe, heel, inhale back up. One more. Exhale it down. Heel, toe, heel, inhale back up. Bend those knees, bring them back into the chest. Go ahead and cup the knees with the hands, pull the knees in, and then big circles with the legs, releasing the hips, releasing the lower back. Now push those knees away and then circle out the opposite direction. Okay, we're going to get into the hips just a little bit more. So if you have a hip issue, you can do a pigeon by just crisscrossing those legs a little bit and pulling that chest in. You might feel in that hip. Okay, but everyone else, if you bring that left ankle just above the right knee, thread the right hand through that body, through that leg, and clasp behind you. You might want to even use maybe a strap here, okay? And then use that right elbow to push that right knee away as you pull the left knee in, getting into that right hip. This is our reclined pigeon. Breathing. Now the body wants to fall towards that right side, towards that right bent leg. So really keep that body level. Make sure that that knee stays level over the hip, right? And you'll feel it in that right hip a little bit more. As you take that inhale, exhale, just release it all. Keep that right foot flexed. This is a great stretch for if you have sciatica issues. And then go ahead and release that leg. Pull those knees into the chest. Maybe wiggle back and forth a little bit if it feels good. Release the legs. Take that left ankle, cross it over the right. Same thing, thread the left hand through the leg. Maybe clasp behind that right leg if it's available, or use your strap if that feels good. Use the left elbow to push the right knee away. Keep that, or push the left elbow to push the left elbow knee away as you pull the right thigh towards you. Again, the body wants to fall to the left side. So make sure that knee stays over that hip and you'll feel it in there a little bit. Take that inhale, and as you exhale, just allow the hip to release like a millimeter. Yoga is all about using your breath to relax all the muscles, to allow them to move and release. Slowly release that pigeon. Bring those knees back together. And then go ahead and roll the whole body to the left side, putting the back of the left hand on the ground and stacking the right hand on top. And then inhale up the right arm all the way back to the other side into a little twist here. Now, if that right arm is shoulders coming off the mat a lot, do a little angel wing with the back of the fingertips, and that'll help release that shoulder down. You can use that left arm on top of the right thigh for a little bit of counter pressure if it feels good. As you inhale, feel the right side of the body really open up and expand. And as you exhale, let everything release down. Slowly release that leg, come back to center. Take a breath here, and then roll the whole body to the other side, stacking the left hand on top of the right. And then inhale up that left hand back behind you. Maybe angel arm it if the shoulder's really lifting up here. And breathe. Feel that whole left side of the body expand. Feel the ribs separate. Let that right leg sink down into the earth. Maybe use the right hand on top of the left leg as a counter pressure. Inhale it back up. Pull those knees into the chest one more time for a little hug. And then extend one leg out, then the other, bringing your hands out to your side with the palms up to the sky. And from this point on, just listen to my voice commands. Don't look at the screen. Take that inhale into your Shavasana. And as you exhale, feel the full body surrender down. Keep that gaze on that third eye center. The feet will fall to the side. Maybe use a blanket underneath the knees if it feels comfortable for you. Inhale all the way up through the crown of the head, and as you exhale, feel the muscles in the back of the eyes soften. Allow the jaw to release, the teeth might separate. Letting the body fully surrender with each exhale. Inhale all the way up through the crown of the head, and as you exhale, feel the shoulders sinking down into the earth. And watch the breath travel down each arm, past the elbows, through the wrists, and out the tips of the fingers. Feel the heart center rise, the ribs separate, the belly inflate with the next inhale. And as you exhale, feel that heart center surrender, the navel center pull back, and the prana make its way all the way down the body through the hips, past the knees, to the ankles, to the heel of each foot until it makes its way out the tips of the toes. So that with each healing breath, you inhale all the way up through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, your body is surrendering and releasing any stress, tension, anxiety. Out the nose, the ears, the pore, everybody, the fingertips, the tips of the toes. But the only thing that's remaining is that peaceful healing. Just enjoy the peace for the next couple minutes. slowly allow your awareness to come back to the present moment by wiggling those fingers and toes. And then when you're ready, bend one knee, then the other, and pull them into your chest, giving yourself a gentle hug. And then rolling to your side and using your hand or your arm as a pillow, keeping those eyes closed and just taking a moment to reflect on your practice. Notice how the body is settled, the breath is settled, and your mind is settled. With your head heavy and your eyes closed, gently push yourself up to a seated position. And go ahead and bring those hands together in prayer position in front of the heart center. And then rub them together, creating heat and friction into the palms of your hand. Cup your eyes, blocking out all the light, opening your eyes into that darkness, absorbing that energy. Close your eyes, bring your hands back together in prayer position at the forehead. Bow your head. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you guys enjoyed it.